It could have been working with me or against me. I'm not sure, but I think it could have been a little cleaner there for me.
Would you say that you were more emotional for this fight than others? I mean, it didn't seem like it going throughout the week, but then, like you said, the weigh-in, it kind of got heated.
Yeah, we were fine until we got all hypey at the weigh-in. I was gonna, I don't like to come off that way, or whatever. I'm not exactly sure what happened up there, so I'm gonna see it again. But yeah.
Along those lines, what were you saying to him prior to even right after the initial bell?
Just like you gotta say things, it's just strategy, or I just had stuff to say, so I said what I was gonna say. John McCarthy said I can say what I'm gonna say as long as I'm not being too loud about it. I'm not saying anything too crazy or whatever.
Did he respond with anything?
I'm sorry?
Did he respond by saying anything back?
No, I think he was, I think it really threw him off a little bit. He didn't have anything to say to me. And I don't know, I just think I kind of got out there, got the jump on him, so, I don't know.
RJ Sirius Radio for Musasi. The up kick that cost you a point, was that, were you pummeling? Were you trying to push him off? What happened there? And do you think that it was good, or not good, but do you think it was valid you got that point taken away?
I think it wasn't, I didn't do it deliberately, just, like in Japan it's allowed, some rules, I don't know, but it wasn't allowed and I did it, so the point deduction was correct. But I didn't do it deliberately, so I apologize for that.
Were you trying to push him off, or you just, what happened?
I don't know what I was.
Questions, guys? Go ahead, Ben.
Nick, when you were down there later in the round, you was like 9 total shots in the back of the head. You were secondary cover. You all worried that the fight was going to be stopped there because you're strong when he was watching?
I was moving my head every play. Yeah.
I hit the back of the head directly.
How hurt were you?
I was okay, I just knocked me off balance, and then, I was just watching for him to follow up. And, I'm probably better off down there on my knees anyways, than standing up where I'm all, knocked off balance like that. And so I get my footing. If I go down, what are you going to do down there? So he couldn't hit me once I was down, so.
Brian, Scrap Fight Magazine. Mr. Coker, how rigid, it seems that a lot of people and a lot of fighters do want to see that crossover between UFC and Strikeforce. How rigid are the contract restrictions, and are we going to have to wait until, the showtime deal runs out before we do that?
No, here's the thing, guys, is that, this has been about 30 days since the purchase of Strikeforce into Zupa, so we really haven't had that conversation of when it would happen, but, I think what the fans demanded, I think those fights will happen. And personally, for myself, as a fan, I would love to see it. I think that Gilbert fighting Frankie, or Alistair Overeem fighting King Velasquez, or Nick fighting GSP. Like Jacare fighting Anderson Silva. There's just some amazing fights out there. So you know what? To me, we have a great relationship with Showtime, and I think that the fighters you see on Showtime will continue fighting on Showtime. But at some point, I think that let's get it on.
Nick, you talked about the talk at the beginning. Were all the things you were saying those things you were planning on coming out and saying to him, or was it more?
No, I didn't know anything else. I just come to fight, and whatever happens out there, it happens.
Any chance for rematch between Curry?
That's something we'll definitely go back and talk to the camps, and talk to Lorenzo and the group, and see what makes sense. But personally, I think that would probably happen. But when, who knows? There's a lot of other guys to compete with.
Question for Mr. Yogi. Being not in the best shape these days, how are you viewing your future? Do you want to play primarily in the States, or are you looking to rotate between
Nick's getting some text messages.
それは条件でいい方を選択したいな。
He would like to choose the money himself.
Nick, there were some people who thought that you might take on kind of a safer game plan with Daley. Obviously, he's known for his knockout power, but it didn't really seem like you just talk about your game plan coming into a fight.
I did. I thought that was the safest thing for me to do, but it's the way you do it. If you don't want to hit like that, I think you're gonna have to welcome it.
What would you like to do next? Obviously, you just fought, you want some time off, but give it a consideration of what can be next for you.
Final questions, guys. We will have limited one-on-one availability, so we do ask you to get your questions in.
Just for Gilbert, can you talk about the emotion of your victory and then coming right back to see what Nick did? I mean, how much are you teaming was?
Yeah, man. Nick and Jake have been like just like role models and stuff, and same with Caesar, man. He brought us all together, and I started from scratch with these guys, so it's like I'm a Nick Diaz fan, I'm a Nate Diaz fan, I'm a Jake Shields fan, and it's it kind of runs deep for us. So yeah, man, it gets emotional out there, at least for me, and it's fun to watch it, man. It's like it gets real discouraging in camp when I spar like Nick and Nate and Jake. I'm like, I'm not ready for a fight, I think I'm getting my butt kicked and shit. So I'm like, and then I go fight, and I'm like, these guys are like 10 times easier than my teammates. So and it just makes me feel how good our team is. So yeah, man, I love watching these guys. It means a lot to me. We're more than a team. I think we're a family. I kind of fueled my own fire that way, and was trying to avenge a fight. If you look at all my fights now, besides the 2 I lost and the fight with him, I usually dominate everyone. My rematch with all them, I was able to dominate. So, I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, I'm happy about it.
Final questions, guys?
For Nick, did you ever feel like you were in trouble? And then secondly, did you know how close it was to the end of the round? And did you feel like you had to try to finish it before the round ended?
I figured it was probably pretty close in the round. I didn't hear. I don't know how close it was. I don't know if that. I didn't know. I didn't know like. I knew that we'd been fighting for a while. And I didn't feel like there was any danger. You asked me.
Actually, I was going to ask that question about the
Gilbert, you talked about the one rule change here was the elbows on the ground, and that's kind of how you fix the play. We talked about that ending, that was kind of
Yeah, I could use a little more technical with my elbows, but I was able to be vicious with them, and I just kind of jumped on the opportunity to drop some mean elbows, so I was kind of pumped on that. But yeah, man, I think it's it's a great part in the sport. I think we should be able to use all our weapons, and I'm happy we get to use those. I think Jake Shields is one of the pioneers on elbows for ground and pound. He showed me how to elbow pretty well, and I'm happy I get to use them. I haven't used them since like my 6th fight, because after that I started fighting in Japan, and Strikeforce didn't allow them for a while. I think it adds to my game, and I'm pumped up about that.
Tomorrow we're now calling elbows.
Cool.
Scott, now that the weekend essentially wrapped up, how was it like having some of the super employees aboard? Some of the guys you can hear at the press conference?
Well, there's definitely a lot of people that had new faces, which it's like everybody's part of the new family now. So this is the inaugural fight. I think it's an historical event, and to see Dana there with his Strikeforce shirt, I was like, wow, this is like surreal. Right? So I'm gonna have to wear a UFC shirt next time I come to the press conference. But you know what, Strikeforce, the product and the fighters that we've had for the last 2 years on Showtime have been unbelievable, and I'm glad that we will finally get to see the fighters fight each other at some point, because to me it's always something that I've always wanted to see. Is in boxing sometimes it doesn't happen, right, because of the promoter or this promoter, but now at some point there will not be one fight that won't be possible to see that we're all going to want to see, including myself. But you know what? It was a fantastic night. I think the fighters delivered. I think they delivered. All these guys delivered. And then we're on. You know, the next Strikeforce event. We're looking forward to this, the second quarterfinal of the Heavyweight Grand Prix tournament. In fact, we have Josh Burnett back there. Where should be fighting Brett Rogers? Give it up for Josh. Will be fighting Fabricio Verdun, and you know, Gina Carano will be making her comeback at that point. And we announced two more fights tonight, and one of the fights in Dallas that you'll see will be Daniel Cormier will fight Shane Del Rosario, and I think they announced it on telecast, right? Is that correct? Okay, well, you guys know now. And then the other fight was Valentino Ring. We'll be fighting Chad Griggs, as you know, the beat Bobby Lashley, and had a good victory at the last fight. And where was it before? Jersey, that's right. So, Chad, you know what? It's just a testament to the Strikeforce heavyweight division. We're committed to keep building that division. I've always said, you know what? We've had some of the greatest heavyweight fights in the world, fighters in the world, and this tournament has been an amazing process. And we look forward to continuing that. And you know, like you know, Caesar Gracie, who's also here. He's in the back. Let's give Caesar some round of applause. You know, he's got another one of his guys, Jake Shields, fighting GSP April 30th at the UFC up in Toronto, so we're all going to be watching on our pay-per-view. So thank you guys for coming, and looking forward to Toronto. Thank you.